So we're going to talk about hooking the ventilator up to your patient. What we're going to use is one of 3 circuits, and this circuit is the circuit you'll use most commonly, which is good for animals from about 1 kilogram to 60 kilograms. You have 2 different ends. This end goes to the ventilator, and we hook this portion to the patient port, and this to the pressure port, and this is your pressure monitor. And this tube actually runs all the way up to about here on your tube, so you're actually reading the pressures at this point rather than way down here. And then we're going to hook this up to the bag port on the anesthetic machine. And then we're going to close the pop-off valve and remove the scavenging hose from the back of the pop-off valve and hook it to the back of the ventilator at the scavenging exhaust port. And then at this point, we need to do a calibration of the volume in the circuit. You don't need to do this every time, but you do need to do it whenever you're changing the size of the circuit. So if I decide to take the adult breathing hoses off and put a pediatric circuit on, I would need to do this calibration item. And then the other, if I change from one of the other 2 circuits, I would also need to do the calibration. So what we're going to do is press the auto select and the alarm button and change from off to monitor. You can see you get a couple of 1s up here. We're going to change the top one, which is the inspiratory pressure line, to 11, and I'm going to hit select. At this point it puts it at 2, and the unit is ready to do the calibration. I'm going to occlude the end of the tubes, where I would hook the endotracheal tube up and hit select. This number will go to 4, and it'll perform its calibration. It takes about a minute, and it's somewhat noisy, so I won't talk during the process. Okay, it's finished its calibration. We've gone back to 1s, so everything's good. At this point I can turn the mode to off, which will take it out of its maintenance mode, and we can get ready to do the settings for our patient. So what we're going to do is just put it into a monitor mode, and to move between points on our settings, you just hit select. Now we can set our inspiratory pressure to whatever we want. We can put in an end expiratory pressure if we like. We can change our breath rate. That's up pretty high, so we will drop it down to about 12. And we hit select again, and we can go down to inspiratory time. I'm going to change that to 2. And when we talk about inspiratory time, what we're talking about is the time for each breath that the unit delivers the breath. Then the extra time is the expiratory time. So if I have my system on a breath rate of 12, that's a breath every 5 seconds. So 2 seconds of that is going to be a breath, and the other 3 seconds is going to be exhalation. And in that we have about a 1 to 1.5 inspiratory expiratory time. Sounds like a lot of calculations, but the best way that it was explained to me was breathe with your patient once you get started. And if it feels like a normal breath, then you're pretty good. If you need to adjust the inspiratory time up or down to make it feel more like a normal breath for you, then you're doing well with your patient. Then the last setting is apnea down here. And with apnea, that will only be used in backup ventilation mode, but you can set that to 0 to 60 seconds. And in backup ventilation mode, if the animal stops breathing, the unit will automatically turn on and alarm and start breathing for the patient. Anytime we do all those settings, we want to hit auto select to stop that beeping, and then the system will kick into those settings. What we're going to do is then we're set to attach the patient. And we're attached to the patient now. And I can change this to mandatory ventilation mode. Apologize, we were in jet ventilation mode. So now the animal is breathing for the patient. And you can see that it's going to give us a little bit of alarm. It might give us a little bit of alarm at the beginning because it's trying to get up to your pressure. Once it got over that alarm limit, it stopped. And so again, these are your readings. Our tidal volume is about 151 at the moment. Inspiratory pressure is 15 now, which matches our numbers, and our end expiratory pressure is 3. So these are actual numbers, and these are the numbers that we have set. Thank you very much.